Hello everyone, today I would like to talk about probiotics and also our products related to probiotics. About 80% of our immune system and endocrine systems are concentrated in the intestine, and therefore intestinal health actually links to the overall health. And recently the studies has been established on gut-brain axis. So in this case, the bacteria have been shown to play an important role in determining your brain health related to depression, anxiety, memory loss, Parkinson risk. So bacteria that living in our body is about 100 trillion, and which is 900% more than human cell. But our lifestyle actually deplete the good bacteria, so and hence because of the imbalance of good and bad bacteria, it leads to many negative impact on our health. First, you have a GI impact where it causes gas bloating, constipation, diarrhea, and at the end it influences or weaken your immune systems, and then that it also affects your hormonal health, your endocrine health, and at the end it affects your overall health. So elder nutrition has the concept of blending bifidol and lactose together. In this case, lactose help to um, maintain your small intestinal health. Bifidol help to protect your large intestinal health. So in this case, we take care of your large and small intestinal health. We have three products here. Probiocare Complete is the capsule form. Then we have a product that called Probiocare GI that actually meant for gastrointestinal health. And we have a product named Probiocare IM, which is actually targeted for your immune system health. And this series we call this as Probiocare series, and this is a blend of bacteria or probiotics with more than 800 studies that prove on its efficacy and also its stability and safety for human consumption. So what is inside Probiocare? So we have three different type of bacteria where we blend them together but in different ratio that give you different effects. So we have first strain called Lactobacillus acidophilus and CFM, and then followed by Bifidol, BL04, and Lacto-GG. So first we have Probiocare GI, which actually concentrate on giving you or maintain your healthy bacteria in your digestive tract. So each of the sachet we have 20 billion input of bacteria. So this product is suitable for people who are taking antibiotics, who are on long-term medications, and also people who are suffering from gastritis, bad breath, indigestion, bloating, IBS, diarrhea, or constipations, or hemorrhoids. So what is Probiocare IM? But Probiocare IM has a different benefits. In this case, it helps to support your immune systems. So the number of bacteria that we put in each sachet is also 20 billion. So this product is suitable for people who are suffering from eczema, acne, cold and flu, upper respiratory tract infections, vaginal infections, and also urinary tract infections. And Probiocare Complete is actually a blend with an optimum strength that provide GI and immune support. So we put a bit more bacteria so that it covers both, GI and IM. So in this case, we have 25 billions of CFU bacteria that we put into each capsule. So our products is also well known for its superior stability and also its efficacy. So this is first, let's look at the stability of our products in the shelf. So we actually can guarantee you the superior stability in this case when the product put on the shelf. So over 2 years, you can see that bacteria living good in the on the shelf. So it guarantees the number of bacteria in each of our formulations that actually account to the benefits and efficacies that are shown in the clinical studies. Second, so it is also resistance to acid and bile. So it's not only about stability on the shelf, but also stability on actually in your stomach, where it is resistant to acid and bile, where this is important because the stomach acid and also the bile or enzyme in the stomach actually will help to digest or destroy the number of bacteria. So in the formulations, or basically there are no bacteria able to survive and under these extreme conditions that means to actually protect your body from invasions of bacteria. So in this case, we have good data showing that our bacteria live well and also resist to the enzyme and bile that present in your stomachs. So when this bacteria goes into your intestine, it actually works. So we have data shows that it actually works on your intestine where it actually attached to your intestinal wall, and after that it actually multiply and it talks to your body and give you systemic effects that leads to your overall health. So this is actually a formulations that look into three different levels of benefits. So we can guarantee you some external effects that where in this case the bacteria that you take in actually communicate with other bacteria in your stomach or intestine. In this case, it inhibits the growth of certain bad bacteria and it has some barrier effects. In this case, the microbe barrier interactions that helps to stimulate the mucus productions. So which means when the bacteria that reach into your gut actually stick to the barrier of your the barrier of your gut that actually stimulates the mucus productions that play an important role in immune systems and also in promotes your gut health. So last, it actually promotes systemic internal effects that in this case influence your hormone productions, and also this is how it actually talks to your body and influence your body health. So next, let's look into some of the evidence for the products. We look into the products related to GI health first. So we have a good studies actually uh, links to our bacteria in our products. Okay, the bacteria in the products that actually it takes in combination with augmentin, which is an antibiotic formula of amoxicillin and clavulanic acid. So where in this case our bacteria helps to protect the number of good bacteria that live in the body during the antibiotic regime. So if you look into this graph, you can see that at baseline you have a control group which is gray in color, and the green color bar actually shows you that this is a group that was taken were probiotics. So you can see that at baseline, so both groups were sharing the same number of good bacteria in their gut, but immediately after one antibiotic feeding, you can see that in the probiotic group, the number of bacteria reduced less than 10%, but whereas in the group that are not taking probiotics, you can see that the number of bacteria fall more than 50%, all right, compared to the baseline. And post 4 days of antibiotic regime, you can see that the bacteria in the probiotic group actually grows more than baseline. But at the control group, you don't see any growth. On 13 days after the antibiotic regime, you can see that the probiotic group has the number of bacteria growth more than 20% compared to the baseline, but on the control group, you don't see any growth of the bacteria. So this study actually shows that our bacteria are actually able to supply and promote the growth of good bacteria in your gut when you are taking antibiotics. And secondly, this studies actually shows to you that antibiotic intake actually deplete the bacteria, the good bacteria, not only the bad bacteria, but the good bacteria that live in your gut, that eventually has the potential to destroy your good health. So therefore, it is so important to take probiotics. Our probiotics, especially in this case, whenever you have an antibiotic intake. So next, let's look into the protections of intestinal inflammations. One of them, with well-known inflammations in your intestine, we call colitis. So it actually helps to protect colitis. So for more than 50%, close to 60%, all right. So in this case, colitis is the inflammations that often leads to kidney dysfunction. So especially on acute kidney dysfunctions, and then later on leads to chronic kidney dysfunctions. So not only about on colitis, but it also helps to protect you from IBS. And our bacteria helps to regulate your cyclooxygenase expression, which is the COX-1 and COX-2 expression. So for healthy intestinal health, you need a lower number of COX-2 activity, but higher number of the COX-1 activity. So in this case, this bacteria helps you to regulate your COX-1 and COX-2 activity in your gut, where it actually helps to decrease COX-2 activity but increase your COX-1 activity in your gut. That helps to also at the same time maintain a healthy stage of inflammations. But because of some of the intake of painkiller in this case, where painkiller help to deplete the, like, especially those non-selective COX-2 inhibitor, where it actually deplete COX-1 activity, not only about COX-2. So in this case, probiotic helps to regulate the COX-1 and COX-2 activity and also promote healthy intestinal alignment. So and also we have study shows that our probiotics help to inhibit some of the pathogens activity. So those pathogens are often related to serious health deteriorations or even death for humans. So we have first Salmonella, Staph aureus, E. coli, and Listeria. And not only about that, our bacteria also help to reduce some of the undesirable enzyme activities that link to cancer in our colons. So we have azo reductase, nitro reductase, and beta glucuronidase. So in this graph shows that the intake of our bacteria, the good bacteria in our products, helps to deplete three different undesired enzyme activity. So compared to the baseline and also after washout, you can see that the number of the number of enzyme activity actually reduced significantly during the intake of bacteria, and hence it actually helps to protect you from colon cancer. So this bacteria also helps to reduce the incidence of diarrhea. So incidence of diarrhea in lactose intolerance especially, so you can see that the milk fortified with our bacteria helps to reduce the symptom score of lactose intolerance. So we have also study shows that it helps to reduce diarrhea. We have good studies on in India, so and also on Mexico, so related to rotavirus diarrhea and also community acquired diarrhea. So both studies actually shows that the intake of probiotics help to reduce the incidence of diarrhea. So let's look at Probiocare IM. So with studies that shows it beneficial to human health. So first, let's look into the respiratory functions. So we have one good studies here that only use 2 billions of BL04 for a 5-month studies, a double-blind placebo-controlled studies that with which involved more than 300 healthy subjects. So you can see that in these studies, the number of bacteria used are just 2 billions. So it again shows to you that clinically proven bacteria we do not normally need high dose, but of course it also depends on what are the functions that you are trying to target on. So different number of bacteria will give you different effects. Like for example, in this case, BL04, if you have more than like 17 or 18 billions of BL04, so it will be good or effective in this case that cover GI, so cover your GI. So but in this case you have 2 billion, which is actually enough to shows you that it helps to cover your respiratory health. So at the end of the studies of, you can see that BL04 group, the number of patients in the BL04 group are much healthier, where it helps to delay their episodes of URTI, so experiencing URTI, so from 2.5 months to 3.2 months. So which means that the number of people who are in the probiotic group experience URTI symptoms every 3 months, but in the placebo groups, you can see that every two to 2.5 months, you can see that they fall into sick, yeah, compared to the patients that in the probiotic group, which actually only suffer from illness every 3 months. So it also, in this case, reduce their risk of respiratory tract infection by 27%. So another study actually looking into the combination of BAL04 and also NCFM, it shows that it helps to reduce allergic rhinitis and running nose. So compared to the placebo group, so but not only about on running nose, but on blocked nose as well, you can see that the allergic rhinitis symptoms reduce dramatically compared to the placebo group. So another study looked into these combinations of bacteria that actually helps to relieve cold and flu symptoms. You can see that the probiotic groups helps to reduce compared to the placebo groups. It helps to reduce the symptoms of cold and flu. Not only about reductions of the symptoms of cold and flu, but also these bacteria help to reduce the use of antibiotic. So during the experience of cold and flu, so which is so important in this case, it close to 70% of the patients having less chance of using antibiotic. So this data is actually very powerful. In this case, it will definitely help your patients that may not need antibiotic later on when they are suffering from cold and flu. So on stimulations of antibody, so you can see that the intake of probiotics help to stimulate your antibody. So it helps to stimulate your antibody compared to the placebo group by more than 100%. Yeah. So this probiotics also helps to protect your vaginal health. In this case, it protects you from candida infections. So white discharge in women. So by restoring the healthy pH on your vagina and also inhibit inflammations and produce more good bacteria with antiseptic agents that helps to protect your vaginal health from harmful bacteria. So not only about on the vaginal health, these bacteria is also good in protecting your UTI. So in this case, it helps to prevent the adhesions of bacteria in the UTI, on the urinary tract wall. So that's it for my sharing for today. So I thank you for your time in listening to my presentations.